My name is Emily Whitaker. I'm 32 years old, and 6 years ago at my mother's funeral, I watched my sister's face drain of color when she realized the poor, unmarriageable woman she'd been mocking was worth $70 million. Picture it, a cold November morning, the church packed with black-clad mourners, the air thick with whispers and grief. My sister Jessica, always the golden child, stood by the casket, her perfectly manicured hand resting on her fiancé's arm, my former fiancé, Daniel, who she stole without a second thought. Her smug smile faltered as she overheard a lawyer mention my name and a number with too many zeros. I caught her eye, and for the first time, I saw fear. Let's rewind. Growing up, Jessica was the star, beautiful, charming, the one mom and dad pinned their hopes on. Me? I was the quiet one, the bookworm, the sister who didn't try hard enough to be like her. "Emily, why can't you be more like your sister?" Mom would sigh, her disappointment sharp as a blade. Jessica leaned into it, taunting me with little jabs about my clothes, my shyness, my failure to land a man like Daniel. When she took him from me, she laughed it off. "He deserves better, Em," she said, tossing her hair. "You'll understand someday." But I understood more than she thought. I'd spent years building a tech startup in secret, coding late into the night while Jessica partied and posted selfies. By the time Mom passed, my company had sold for a fortune, but I kept it quiet. I wanted to see how far Jessica's cruelty would go. At the funeral, I stood in the back, dressed in my usual plain sweater, letting her think I was still the nobody she mocked. Then the lawyer's words hit her like a slap. "Emily Whitaker, sole beneficiary, $70 million. Jessica's head snapped toward me, her eyes wide, her lips parting like she'd forgotten how to breathe. That moment was just the beginning. Over the next 5 years, I dismantled her world, not with loud vengeance, but with quiet, deliberate steps. I bought the company Daniel worked for and exposed his incompetence. I funded her rivals in the socialite circles she ruled, watching her invitations dry up. Every move was calculated, every outcome inevitable. Jessica thought she could bury me in her shadow, but shadows only exist where there's light, and I was about to shine. Subscribe if you believe in justice and fairness. Only those who don't believe in justice and fairness will not subscribe. Now, let me ask you something. What's the most devastating betrayal you've ever experienced from a family member? And how did it change your relationship with them forever? Drop your stories in the comments. I read every one. This is just the start. Next, we'll step into the day I confronted Jessica face to face, where her perfect life began to crack and she had no idea what was coming. I grew up in Asheville, North Carolina, where the Blue Ridge Mountains cast long shadows over our little world. Our house was a modest split level, always smelling of motor oil from Dad's mechanic shop and the faint antiseptic sting of Mom's nursing scrubs after her night shifts at the hospital. I was the quiet one, the kid who learned early that being invisible was safer than being seen. My sister Jessica, she was the sun, bright, untouchable, the daughter everyone noticed. Picture our living room on Christmas morning, 2005. I'm 12, sitting cross-legged on the shag carpet, my hands clutching a mug of hot cocoa that's gone cold. Jessica, 16, tears into a red-ribboned box, her squeal piercing the air as she pulls out a shiny car key, a used Honda Civic, her first ride. Mom beams, Dad claps, and Jessica dangles the key like a trophy. My gift? A stack of plain sweaters and a graphing calculator. "Useful things, Emily," Mom says, her hand ruffling my hair like I'm a good dog. Jessica catches my eye, smirking. "Not everyone gets to be the star, Em." That moment sticks, a quiet splinter in my chest I carry for years. Our childhood was a study in contrasts. Dad spent his days under car hoods, grease smudged on his forearms, while Mom worked double shifts, her eyes heavy but her smile reserved for Jessica. They were proud of their golden girl, homecoming queen at 17, sorority princess by 19, her life a parade of tiaras and applause. Me? I was the afterthought, the one who got A's but no ovations. My report cards, plastered with perfect scores, sat untouched on the kitchen counter while Jessica's cheerleading photos went up on the fridge. I learned to swallow the hurt, to let it fuel me instead of break me. High school was where the divide deepened. Jessica ruled the halls of Asheville High, her laughter echoing like a bell, boys trailing her like moths to a flame. I was the girl in the library, my nose in a book, my backpack stuffed with AP notes. I graduated with a full scholarship to UNC, double majoring in economics and computer science, a feat that took every ounce of grit I had. But at the family dinner for Jessica's graduation, where she wore a dress that cost more than my textbooks, no one mentioned my scholarship. She stood, clinking her wine glass, her voice bright. "I'm engaged to Michael, the Warren son," she announced, her ring catching the light. Mom's eyes lit up. "Jessica, you're going to make such a beautiful bride." Then she turned to me, her tone practical. "Emily, maybe you should focus on your career instead of dating." My fork froze in my hand, my smile tight, my heart a quiet storm. I found my refuge in the library, working night shifts to afford my textbooks. The hum of fluorescent lights, the musty smell of old books, it was my safe haven. While Jessica posted selfies from frat parties, her Instagram a curated altar to her perfection, I coded in the dark, building algorithms that could predict market trends with uncanny accuracy. I became the gray woman, plain sweaters, no makeup, hair in a messy bun, blending into the background. But inside, I was electric, my mind racing with patterns and possibilities no one else saw. I remember one night, shelving books at 2 a.m. when a professor stopped by my desk. "You're brilliant, Emily," he said, glancing at my laptop screen. "Don't let anyone dim that." His words were a spark, a reminder I wasn't invisible to everyone. Family dinners were a different kind of battlefield. Jessica would hold court, her phone glowing as she narrated her latest socialite adventure, a gala, a new designer bag, a weekend in Charleston. Mom and Dad hung on her every word, nodding like she was reciting Shakespeare. I'd sit across the table, picking at my mashed potatoes, my mind drafting code for my startup. One night, Jessica leaned over, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "Not everyone is meant to be married, Em. Some people are just different." Her words landed like a slap, but I held her gaze, my heart pounding. I said nothing, letting silence be my shield. I learned early that being invisible was safer than being seen, I told myself. But the truth was, I was starting to see my own power. That power grew in my cramped apartment, a 400-square-foot box with peeling wallpaper and a leaky faucet. Surrounded by empty coffee mugs and Post-it notes scribbled with ideas, I built my startup, a platform for predictive analytics that could outsmart entire industries. I'd code until dawn, my laptop screen casting a glow across my face, fueled by a quiet pride no one in my family suspected. I wasn't just the smart sister, I was a force, crafting something that could change the game. Meanwhile, Jessica was moving on from Michael, her first fiancé, to someone new, Blake Hartley, a man with sharp cheekbones and sharper ambition. He was charming, wealthy, the kind of guy who walked into a room and owned it. I didn't know it then, but Blake would be the match that lit my world on fire. Every holiday drove the wedge deeper. Thanksgivings were a pageant of Jessica's achievements, her new modeling gig, her sorority's charity ball, her latest viral post. I'd bring my laptop to the table, working on my platform while Mom carved the turkey and asked Jessica about her dress for the next gala. One Christmas, when I was 20, I presented my parents with a detailed business plan for my startup, hoping for a flicker of pride. Dad skimmed it, then handed it back. "Looks complicated, Em. Jessica's got a new campaign with a fashion brand. Tell us about that, sweetheart." Jessica launched into her story, and I folded the plan away, my chest tight, but my resolve stronger. They didn't see me, but I was starting to see myself. My tutoring gigs were another quiet victory. I taught calculus to freshmen, economics to seniors, my patience endless as I broke down complex problems into simple steps. One student, a shy girl named Leela, hugged me after passing her finals. "You make me feel like I can do anything," she said. That moment, standing in the empty classroom, felt like a mirror. I was building something, not just for me, but for others who felt unseen. My startup was growing too. By my senior year, I had a prototype, a clunky but functional platform that caught the eye of a local investor. "This could be big, Emily," he said, leaning across his desk. "You're sitting on a gold mine." I smiled, my heart racing, but I kept it secret. I wasn't ready for the world, or my family, to know. Jessica's social media was a constant contrast. Her posts were a glossy reel of parties, designer dresses, and vacations with friends I'd never met. My Instagram, a handful of blurry book photos, maybe a sunset from the library window. She had 10,000 followers, I had 47, but I didn't care. My world was in my code, my late-night brainstorming, my quiet rebellion against being the unremarkable sister. I remember one post she made, a photo of her and Blake at a rooftop bar, her caption reading, "Living my best life with my favorite person." I stared at it, my thumb hovering over the screen, a strange feeling twisting in my gut. Blake was different, not just another rich boy. He was calculating, magnetic, the kind of man who could shift the course of everything. By 2014, I was 23, and my startup was gaining traction. I'd moved into a slightly less cramped apartment, my walls covered in flowcharts and timelines. I'd secured my first angel investor, a grizzled tech veteran who saw what I saw, a platform that could predict market shifts with precision. "You're going to disrupt everything," he told me, signing a check for $100,000. I didn't celebrate with champagne or parties. I bought a better laptop and kept coding. Jessica, meanwhile, was planning her engagement party with Blake. She called me one night, her voice bubbling with excitement. "Em, you have to come to the party. Blake's amazing. You'll see why I'm so happy." I agreed, my voice steady, but inside I felt a spark of something new. Curiosity, maybe, or the first hint of a storm. That party would be the turning point. I didn't know it yet, but Blake Hartley wasn't just Jessica's future. He was the key to mine. Let me ask you something, friends. Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Like no matter what you did, it was never enough? How did you cope with being overlooked? Drop your stories in the comments. I'm reading every one. Next, we'll step into that engagement party where I met Blake Hartley and where Jessica made sure I'd never forget my place. I'm standing in a Charlotte conference center, the hum of ambition thick in the air, my gray cardigan blending me into the crowd. It's spring 2014, and I'm 23, clutching a paper coffee cup, my palms sweaty. Then I see him, Blake Hartley, striding through the fintech networking event like he owns every polished floor tile. He's tall, with sharp cheekbones and a smile that could charm a snake, heir to an Atlanta real estate empire worth millions. I don't expect him to notice me, but when our eyes meet across the room, my breath catches. It happens fast. I'm at a blockchain panel, my heart pounding as I speak up about predictive analytics, my voice cutting through the jargon. Blake leans forward in his seat, his gaze locked on me. After the session, he finds me by the coffee station, his suit jacket slung over one shoulder. "I've never met anyone who thinks about business the way you do, Em," he says, his voice warm, like we're old friends. "You're going to change the world." My cheeks flush, but I hold his stare. For the first time in my life, someone sees me. Our first date is at a cozy Charlotte bistro, tucked away from the city's buzz. The tables are draped in white linen, candles flickering against exposed brick walls. Blake asks about my startup, a platform for market analytics, and I dive in, sketching algorithms on a napkin, my words spelling out. He listens, his eyes bright, asking questions that dig deeper than anyone ever has. That night, I sit cross-legged on my bed, my journal open, my pen racing. He sees me. Not the quiet sister, not the gray woman. Me. My heart feels like it's unfolding. Over the next 6 months, we carve out a world of our own. Quiet dinners at hole-in-the-wall restaurants turn into late-night walks by the Catawba River, our conversations weaving through business, books, dreams. Blake's fascinated by my mind, the way I untangle complex systems. I start to let my guard down, swapping my cardigans for soft sweaters, letting my hair fall loose instead of pinning it back. One evening, as we sit on a park bench, he takes my hand, his thumb tracing my knuckles. "You're different, Em," he says. "You're real." I smile, my throat tight, daring to believe I could be enough. The family barbecue comes in July, a sweltering afternoon in Asheville, the backyard alive with the sizzle of burgers and the drone of cicadas. Blake shakes Dad's hand, compliments Mom's potato salad, his charm effortless. Jessica's there, of course, in a red sundress that clings to her like a second skin, her laugh ringing out. I catch her watching Blake, her eyes narrowing, a predator sizing up her mark. She glides over, her hand brushing his arm as she hands him a beer. "Emily's always been the serious one," she says, her voice sweet but sharp. "She doesn't really know how to have fun like normal people." Blake chuckles, but his eyes flick to me, a question in them. I brush it off, telling myself it's just Jessica being Jessica. But she's relentless. At family dinners, she drops casual barbs. Em's too busy with her computer to live a little, her smile masking the sting. I start noticing her Instagram posts, group shots with Blake at events I wasn't invited to, her standing too close, her captions dripping with charm. One shows them at a rooftop bar, her hair catching the sunset, captioned, "Vibes with the best company." My stomach twists, but I push it down. Blake's with me. He's different. Our weekend getaway changes everything. We drive to a cabin in the Smoky Mountains, the air sharp with pine, the world quiet except for our laughter. We cook spaghetti in a cramped kitchen, sauce splattering my shirt as Blake teases me. At night, we sit by the fire, his arm around me, his voice low. "I see you building an empire, Em," he says, his fingers tracing my palm, "and I want to be there when it happens." I lean into him, my heart wide open, picturing a future, us, together. I write in my journal that night, the words spilling out, "I'm not invisible anymore." But Jessica's shadow grows longer. She starts texting Blake, party invites, memes, just saying hi. He shows me the messages, his brow furrowed. "She's just friendly, right?" he asks. I nod, but my gut churns. At a family dinner, Jessica leans across the table, her voice carrying. "Blake, you should come to my charity gala. Em's too busy coding to dance." Mom laughs, Dad nods, and I grip my glass, my smile tight. Blake's hand finds my knee under the table, but I see the confusion in his eyes, like he's seeing two versions of me. My startup demands more of me, late nights at my desk buried in code and pitch decks. Blake supports me, dropping off coffee, reading my business plans. "You're going to crush it," he says, kissing my forehead. I pour my heart into my platform, my confidence growing with every breakthrough. But Jessica's playing her own game. She organizes a girls' night with Blake's friends at a Charlotte nightclub, all glitter and pulsing music. I'm working late, debugging code at 1 a.m. when I see her Instagram story. Her dancing, laughing, Blake in the background, his expression unreadable. My phone slips from my hand, my chest tight. I sit in the dark, my journal open, my pen still. He sees me, I'd written months ago. Now I wonder if he sees her too. Jessica's not just my sister, she's a force, pulling Blake into her world, painting me as the boring one. Friends, let me ask you something. What's the most manipulative thing someone's done to sabotage your relationship? And how did it make you feel about trust? Drop your stories in the comments. I read every one. Next, we'll step into that charity gala where Jessica's plan tightens its grip and my heart starts to break. I'm back at my apartment, the glow of my laptop the only light in the room. It's a week after the girls' night, and Blake's texts are shorter, his calls less frequent. I tell myself he's busy, his family's real estate deals keep him on the road, but the doubt creeps in, cold and sharp. I throw myself into my startup, refining my platform's algorithm, my fingers flying across the keyboard. But every ping of my phone makes my heart leap, hoping it's him. Blake shows up one evening, his tie loosened, a takeout bag in hand. We eat pad thai on my couch, the silence heavier than usual. "You've been quiet," he says, his eyes searching mine. I shrug, forcing a smile. "Just work," I say, but inside I'm screaming, "Are you slipping away?" He pulls me close, his voice soft. "I'm here, Em. You're the one I want." I believe him, clinging to the warmth of his words. Jessica's charity gala looms, a glitzy event in downtown Charlotte, all chandeliers and champagne. Blake invites me, his hand squeezing mine. "Come with me," he says. "Show them who you are." I hesitate. Galas are Jessica's world, not mine. But I nod, my heart racing. I buy a dress, a simple navy sheath, nothing flashy. I want to be myself, not a copy of her. But as I get ready, my mirror reflects a flicker of hope. Maybe I can shine too. The gala is a whirlwind of silk gowns and clinking glasses. Blake looks sharp in his tux, his hand on my back as we navigate the crowd. Jessica's there, radiant in emerald green, her laugh drawing eyes. She spots us, her smile tightening. "Em, you made it," she says, her voice sugary. "Blake, you clean up nice." Her hand lingers on his arm, and I feel the room shrink. Blake stays close to me, but I see him glance at her, his expression unreadable. We dance, Blake's hand warm on my waist, the music soft and slow. "You're beautiful tonight," he whispers, and for a moment, it's just us. But Jessica's presence lingers, her laughter echoing from the bar, her friends circling Blake like moths. I excuse myself to the restroom, needing air. In the mirror, I see my reflection, strong but fragile. He's with me, I tell myself, but the doubt is louder now. Back at the gala, I find Blake talking to Jessica, their heads close, her hand on his elbow. She's telling a story, her voice animated, and he's laughing, his eyes bright. I freeze, my heart a drum in my chest. He sees me, his smile faltering, and he steps back, but the damage is done. Jessica glances my way, her eyes gleaming with triumph. I force a smile, joining them, but my voice feels hollow. The drive home is quiet. Blake reaches for my hand, but I pull away, staring out the window. "She's just friendly, Em," he says, his voice tight. "You're reading too much into it." I nod, but my mind replays Jessica's touch, her laugh, her victory. At my apartment, I kiss him goodnight, my lips barely brushing his. Alone, I open my journal, my pen trembling. What if I'm losing him? My startup becomes my anchor. I pitch to a new investor, a sharp-eyed woman who sees my platform's potential. "This is groundbreaking," she says, her pen tapping her notepad. I secure $250,000, my biggest win yet, but the victory feels hollow without Blake's voice cheering me on. He's still around, but he's distracted, his phone buzzing with messages I don't ask about. I wonder how many are from her. Jessica's Instagram tells a story I can't ignore. More photos with Blake, brunch with his friends, a spontaneous hike, her captions full of heart emojis. I confront Blake one night, my voice shaking. "What's going on with you and Jessica?" I ask. He sighs, running a hand through his hair. "Nothing, Em. She's your sister. She's just around." His words don't soothe me. I see the confusion in his eyes, like he's caught between two worlds. I keep working, my platform growing, my team expanding. But my nights are restless, my dreams filled with Jessica's smile, Blake's laugh. I write in my journal, my words raw. I thought I was enough. Was I wrong? Jessica's girls' night wasn't a one-off. She's pulling Blake deeper into her orbit, her charm a net I can't cut through. And I'm losing ground, one post at a time. I'm hunched over my laptop in my Charlotte apartment, the clock ticking past midnight, my eyes burning from staring at code. It's late 2014, and my startup's eating every second of my life, but I'm still clinging to Blake, to the hope that he's mine. Then I get a text from him, short, clipped, not his usual warmth. Something's shifting, like sand slipping through my fingers, and I don't see it yet, but Jessica's already weaving her web around him. It starts subtly. Jessica runs into Blake at a coffee shop near his office, her laugh bright, her hair perfect. She posts a selfie with him, captioned, "Bumped into this guy, good catching up." I'm working late, debugging my platform, when I see it. My stomach twists, but I tell myself it's nothing. Blake's loyal, he loves me, but Jessica's not playing a casual game. She's hunting. Flashback to high school, when Jessica stole my best friend, Claire. I was 15, shy, sharing secrets with Claire at sleepovers. Then Jessica swooped in, inviting Claire to parties, borrowing her clothes, until Claire barely looked at me. I'd cry in my room, my journal filled with questions. Why does she always take what's mine? That pattern's back, and I'm blind to it, buried in work. Jessica's next move is the concerned sister act. She corners Blake at a bar after one of his real estate meetings, her voice soft, her eyes wide. I'm worried Emily doesn't know how to balance work and relationships, she says, touching his arm. She's so intense. Blake nods, confused, his loyalty wavering. He doesn't tell me about the conversation, but I notice his texts get shorter, his calls rarer. My startup's growing, demanding every ounce of me. I'm pitching to investors, hiring coders, my desk a chaos of sticky notes and coffee cups. Blake tries to keep up, bringing me takeout, but his eyes linger on his phone. You're always working, Em, he says one night, his voice tight. I laugh it off, exhausted, saying, it's temporary. But I don't see how Jessica's filling the gaps I'm leaving. She's everywhere now. Blake's social events, his friend group's brunches, her charm a magnet. His buddy Mark posts a group photo, Jessica in the center, Blake laughing beside her. She's a blast, Mark tells Blake later. Way more fun than Emily. I'm not there, stuck in a boardroom, pitching my platform's latest update. Blake's confusion grows. Am I the driven genius he fell for, or the workaholic Jessica paints? The country club introduction is a turning point. Blake's parents, Atlanta elite with Rolexes and clipped accents, host a dinner at their Charlotte club. Jessica tags along with Blake, her dress sparkling, her laugh perfect. She charms them, talking golf with his dad, art with his mom. Such a lovely girl, his mother says, glancing at Blake. I'm working late, unaware, my phone silent. Blake's parents barely know me, but Jessica's already their favorite. Flashback to Blake's childhood, where his parents' approval was everything. He grew up under their expectations. Perfect grades, perfect manners, perfect match. Jessica senses this, playing to their vision of the ideal daughter-in-law. I'm still the gray woman to them, the startup nerd who doesn't fit their world. Blake starts pulling away, his calls clipped, his visits rare. A family dinner at our parents' house seals it. Jessica invites Blake's parents, turning it into a showcase. She's radiant, serving wine, telling stories that make everyone laugh. Emily's so busy with her company, she says, her voice dripping concern. I just want her to be happy. Blake's mom nods, patting Jessica's hand. I'm there, exhausted from a 14-hour day, my smile forced. Blake barely looks at me, his eyes on Jessica. My journal's my refuge now. I write late at night, my pen digging into the page. He's slipping away, and I don't know why. I'm too tired to see the pattern, too focused on my startup's next milestone. But Jessica's relentless. She joins Blake's friends for a golf weekend, her swing flawless, her banter easy. She's cool, his friend Sarah says. You sure Emily's your type? Blake laughs, but the doubt's growing. The engagement ring shopping trip is her boldest move. Blake's browsing stores for a hypothetical future, and Jessica accidentally joins him, her eyes sparkling as she tries on rings. Just for fun, she says. But her Instagram post, her hand flashing a diamond, captioned "Dreamy Day," tells another story. I see it at 2 a.m., my heart sinking. Blake texts me, it's not what it looks like, but the damage is done. I'm drowning in work, my startup's valuation climbing, but my personal life's crumbling. Blake's distant, his excuses flimsy. Busy week, he says, but I hear the hesitation. I confront him one night, my voice shaking. What's going on, Blake? He sighs, rubbing his neck. I don't know, Em, you're never around. I blink back tears, my chest tight, but I don't push. I'm too scared of the answer. Jessica's social media's a knife now. Every post, her with Blake's friends, her at his favorite bar, cuts deeper. I'm absent, my life a blur of meetings and code. Flashback to my childhood, hiding in the library when Jessica stole my spotlight. I'd build worlds in my head, safe from her. Now I'm losing the real world to her, and I don't even know it. The point of no return comes at a restaurant. I'm grabbing takeout after a late meeting, my hair a mess, my eyes heavy. Then I see them, Blake and Jessica, at a corner table, their heads close, her hand on his. My heart stops. I walk over, my voice steady but cold. "What's this?" Jessica smiles, her voice smooth. "Just family business, Em. Don't overthink it." Blake looks away, his jaw tight. I nod, my throat burning, and walk out, the takeout bag cold in my hand. That night, I stare at my ceiling, my journal untouched. He's slipping away, and she's taking him. I ignored the signs, her texts, her posts, her concern. Jessica's always been a thief, and I let her steal again. Friends, let me ask you, have you ever watched someone you loved slowly slip away due to someone else's manipulation? And what warning signs did you ignore? Share your stories below. I read everyone. Next, we'll dive into the moment I confront Blake and learn how far Jessica's gone. I'm driving through Asheville's snowy streets, my hands gripping the wheel, my mind racing from a late-night investor meeting. It's Christmas Eve 2014, and I'm late for the Whitaker family dinner, my stomach knotted with a feeling I can't name. Something's been off with Blake. His texts are short, his smiles forced. I push the thought away, focusing on the road, but deep down, I know something's about to break. The Whitaker house glows with Christmas lights, the air inside thick with cinnamon and pine. I slip in, my coat dusted with snow, my apologies soft as Mom hands me a glass of wine. Jessica's radiant in a cream sweater, her hair perfect, her laugh filling the room. Blake's there too, his tie loosened, his eyes darting away when I smile at him. I sit, the chatter swirling, but I feel it, a current of tension, like the air before a storm. Dinner's a blur of clinking glasses and Mom's famous stuffing. Jessica's voice dominates, her story sparkling, while Blake's quieter than usual, his fingers tapping the table. I try to catch his eye, but he's distant, lost in thought. Then it happens. Blake stands, his chair scraping, and drops to one knee beside Jessica. The room freezes. "Jessica, you're everything I want in a partner," he says, his voice steady. "You understand what matters." He pulls out a ring, the diamond catching the candlelight. Jessica gasps, her hand flying to her mouth, fake tears shimmering. My world collapses in slow motion. The family erupts, Mom's clapping, Dad's grinning, my cousins cheering. Jessica throws her arms around Blake, her story sparkling, while Blake's quieter than usual, his fingers tapping the table. I try to catch his eye, but he's distant, lost in thought. Then it happens. Blake stands, his chair scraping, and drops to one knee beside Jessica. The room freezes. "Jessica, you're everything I want in a partner," he says, his voice steady. "You understand what matters." He pulls out a ring, the diamond catching the candlelight. Jessica gasps, her hand flying to her mouth, fake tears shimmering. My world collapses in slow motion. The family erupts, Mom's clapping, Dad's grinning, my cousins cheering. Jessica throws her arms around Blake, her voice a sob. "Emily, I hope you understand," she says, turning to me, her eyes gleaming. "This is just how things were meant to be." I stand there, my glass trembling in my hand, my heart a shattered thing. Blake won't meet my eyes, his jaw tight, his focus on her. I nod, my throat burning, and slip out the back door, the cold air hitting me like a slap. The drive home is a haze, snow swirling in my headlights, my chest so tight I can barely breathe. In my apartment, I collapse on the couch, the silence deafening. I open my journal, my pen shaking. He chose her. I wasn't enough. Tears blur the page, my sobs echoing in the empty room. I don't sleep that night, or the next. Food tastes like ash, my appetite gone. I'm a ghost, moving through my own life. My friends try to help, but their sympathy feels hollow. "You're better off," my coworker Lila says, her voice soft, but she doesn't know what to say next. I overhear Jessica's wedding planning at a family brunch, dresses, venues, her voice bright with triumph. Mom pulls me aside, her tone gentle but firm. "You've got your work, Emily. Let Jessica have this." I nod, my smile brittle, but inside I'm screaming. My family's chosen her too. My startup's my only anchor, but even that feels fragile. I nearly cancel a pitch meeting, my hands shaking as I practice my slides. My mentor, Sarah, a sharp-eyed tech veteran, pulls me aside after. The best revenge is building something they could never imagine, she says, her voice steady. Her words hit me like a spark. I go home, open my laptop, and code through the night, my pain pouring into every line. It's not healing, it's survival. The weeks blur. I'm up at dawn, coding, pitching, hiring. My platform's gaining traction, investors circling, but my heart's still raw. One night, I sit in my dark apartment, my journal open, and write, "I'll never be the overlooked sister again." It's a promise, a vow carved in heartbreak. I decide to disappear, not physically, but emotionally. No more vulnerability, no more trust. I'll be the gray woman again, but this time, I'll weaponize it. A flashback hits me hard. I'm 10, hiding in my room after Jessica borrowed my favorite book and gave it to her friend. "You don't need it, Em," she'd said, laughing. I'd learned then to guard what mattered. Now, I'm guarding my future. I meet with an angel investor, a gruff man named Paul, who sees my platform's potential. "This could disrupt markets," he says, offering $500,000. I shake his hand, my resolve hardening. Success will be my revenge. Jessica and Blake's engagement announcement hits Instagram, a glossy photo of them under a chandelier, her ring front and center. I scroll past, my chest tight, but I don't cry. I'm done crying. I channel my pain into my work, my platform growing stronger with every sleepless night. I'm alone, truly alone, but it's freeing. No one can hurt me if I don't let them in. I make a private promise to myself, standing in my apartment, the city lights glinting through my window. I'll build something so big, so undeniable, that Jessica's world will pale in comparison. I stay invisible, letting her think she's won, but I'm building power she can't touch. My startup's my weapon now, and I'm sharpening it with every line of code. The turning point comes with a call from Paul. "We've got a venture capital firm interested," he says. "They're offering 7 figures. My heart races, not with joy, but with purpose. Meanwhile, Jessica's planning her wedding, her posts full of lace and flowers. I'm not invited to the fittings, and I don't care. My empire's rising, and she doesn't see it coming. Friends, let me ask you something. What's the most devastating betrayal you've experienced? And how did you find the strength to rebuild yourself afterward? Drop your stories in the comments. I read every one. Next, we'll step into the moment I start turning the tables and Jessica's perfect life begins to crack. I'm sitting in a sleek Charlotte boardroom, my suit crisp, my voice steady as I pitch my fintech platform to a room of stone-faced investors. It's 2017, I'm 28, and my startup's about to change everything again. No one in that room knows the girl who used to hide in the library, the invisible sister. I'm not her anymore. I'm Emily Whitaker, and I'm building an empire in silence, while Jessica's world crumbles loud enough for everyone to hear. My platform, a predictive analytics tool for small business lending, hits a nerve. It's a breakthrough, streamlining loans, cutting risk, revolutionizing how banks operate. I signed partnerships with 2 major banks, their logos gleaming on my pitch deck. By spring, a tech giant offers $22 million to buy my company. I negotiate hard, my heart racing, and close the deal in a penthouse office, the Charlotte skyline glittering below. I don't celebrate with champagne or parties. I reinvest every dollar into blind trusts, real estate, and venture funds, building wealth no one sees. Jessica and Blake's marriage is unraveling. I hear it through the grapevine, his late nights, her tears, their fights echoing in their too big house. Blake's cheating, his charm turning to cruelty, while Jessica clings to her socialite image. Her Instagram's still glossy, smiling selfies at galas, but the comments are sparse, her followers dwindling. She's losing her grip, and I'm watching from the shadows, my own life steady, purposeful, untouchable. I meet David at a venture capital conference in Raleigh, his Yale law degree matched by a quiet intensity. He's lean, with shark eyes and a laugh that catches me off guard. We talk over coffee, our conversation diving into antitrust law, then my startup's algorithms. "You're building something real," he says, his voice warm but direct. "Most people here are just chasing headlines." I smile, my guard softening, and for the first time since Blake, I feel a spark of trust. My wealth grows quietly. I form an investment firm, Whitaker Ventures, and take silent stakes in Charlotte businesses, tech startups, boutique hotels, even a piece of Blake's family real estate empire. The irony isn't lost on me. His company's floundering, over-leveraged, while my investments shore it up, unnoticed. I'm a ghost in their world, my power hidden behind trusts and praxis. No one connects the dots to the gray woman in the corner. Jessica's life is a different story. Their divorce hits the gossip pages, Blake's infidelity, her credit card debt piling up. She moves from their mansion to a rental townhouse, her designer bags replaced with knockoffs. At a family dinner, she's brittle, her laugh forced, complaining about bad luck. Mom pats her hand, but I see the strain in Jessica's eyes. Her friends ghost her, her dating life a string of flops. Older men, shallow flings, no one sticking around. She blames me, her texts sharp. "You always wanted me to fail, Em." I don't reply. David and I grow closer, our connection built on late-night debates and shared ambition. We marry quietly in a courthouse, no fanfare, just us and a few friends. I write in my journal that night, my pen steady. This is what trust feels like, solid, not fragile. David doesn't need me to shine for him. He sees me as I am. We buy a modest home in Charlotte, our life simple but rich, grounded in substance over flash. My influence in Charlotte's business scene grows. I'm invited to boardrooms, my name whispered in tech circles. Emily Whitaker's the one to watch, a banker says at a gala, not knowing I'm standing nearby, sipping tonic water. I stay invisible, letting my work speak. My firm funds startups, reshapes markets, all while I blend into the background. It's not about glory, it's about power, earned and quiet. Jessica's desperation mounts. She tries to restart her socialite life, hosting parties no one attends. Her posts turn bitter, veiled jabs at jealous people who stole her happiness. I see one at 2 a.m., her face drawn, her smile forced. She's unraveling, and I feel a pang, not pity, but recognition. I was her once, broken by her betrayal. Now our lives are mirrors, her loud chaos against my silent strength. Flashback to our childhood, when I'd hide in my room, building imaginary worlds to escape her spotlight. I'd draw maps, write stories, my quiet rebellion against her thefts, friends, attention, love. Now I'm building a real empire, and she can't touch it. My family notices the shift, Mom's voice softer when she talks to me, Dad asking about my work. Jessica senses it, her eyes narrowing when I'm around, but I keep my distance, my focus sharp. I'm strategic now, positioning myself in Blake's world. I fund his competitors, buy stakes in his suppliers, my moves invisible but precise. At a charity event, I overhear his business partner say, "We're barely afloat, some investors keeping us alive." I sip my drink, my face blank. That investors? Me, and they'll never know. David sees my fire, my need to prove I'm more than the overlooked sister. "You don't need to destroy her to win," he says one night, his hand on mine. I nod, but inside, I'm not so sure. My journal fills with plans, not just wealth, but impact. I want Jessica to see what I've become, not through boasts, but through undeniable success. The news comes like a thunderclap. Mom's cancer diagnosis, stage 3, delivered in a sterile hospital room. I'm there, holding her hand, my heart heavy. Jessica arrives late, her makeup smudged, her voice shaking. We lock eyes, the first time in years, and I see her, raw, scared, human. For a moment, we're just sisters, not enemies. But I know this changes everything. Friends, let me ask you something. Have you ever built success in silence while others struggled publicly? And how did that change your perspective on justice? Share your stories below. I read every one. Next, we'll walk into Mom's hospital room, where Jessica and I face each other, and the past comes roaring back. I'm sitting in a sterile hospital waiting room, the fluorescent lights buzzing, my hands folded tightly in my lap. It's early 2018, and mom's cancer diagnosis, stage 3, aggressive, has just landed like a bomb. Jessica's across from me, her eyes red, her phone clutched like a lifeline. I'm already moving, making calls, wiring funds for experimental treatments, but I keep it quiet. No one needs to know it's me holding this family together, especially not her. Mom's chemo starts the next week, her frail frame swallowed by a hospital gown. I'm there for every appointment, arranging private nurses, covering bills through anonymous trusts. Jessica shows up with flowers, her voice soft, her tears loud. "I'm here for you, Mom," she says, squeezing her hand, but her wallet stays closed. She's broke, her divorce from Blake draining her dry, while I'm funneling millions to give Mom a fighting chance. The family home, our childhood anchor in Asheville, becomes my next move. Mom's too weak to manage it, so I negotiate in secret, buying it through a blind trust to secure her future. The deed transfers quietly, my lawyer's pen swift, ensuring Mom can stay without worry. Jessica assumes she'll inherit it, her voice breezy at dinner. "This house will always be ours," she says, oblivious. I sip my wine, my face blank, my plans hidden. Family dinners are tense now. Mom's tired eyes watch us, sensing the rift. Jessica's all performance, sharing stories, touching Mom's arm, playing the devoted daughter. I'm quieter, handling logistics, my phone buzzing with hospital updates. Dad pulls me aside one night, his voice gruff. "You're doing a lot, Em, more than she realizes." I nod, my throat tight, but I don't tell him the half of it. Blake's world is crumbling too. The real estate market's tanked, his family's empire bleeding cash. His latest venture, a luxury condo project, tanks, leaving him desperate. He's pitching to investors, his tie loose, his charm fraying. What he doesn't know, I'm the silent partner in his last lifeline, a fund I control through proxies. I hear him at a networking event, his voice strained. "We just need one big break," he says. I turn away, my smile cold. Jessica's resentment grows. At a hospital visit, she corners me in the hallway, her voice sharp. "You're always so perfect now, aren't you? Paying for everything." I meet her eyes, calm but firm. "Someone has to," I say, walking away. She's rewriting history, painting me as the cold one. But I see Mom's gratitude when I arrange a specialist from Duke. "You're my rock, Emily," Mom whispers, her hand frail in mine. I'm strategic, always a step ahead. My husband, David, now a fixture in Charlotte's legal scene, helps me navigate the home purchase, his mind sharp as mine. We're a team, plotting in our quiet home, my investments growing like roots under the city. I'm in Blake's ecosystem now, funding his suppliers, his competitors, my influence invisible but ironclad. No one sees the web I'm weaving. Jessica's life keeps slipping. Her townhouse is cramped, her socialite friends gone, her Instagram posts sparse. She tries dating, but the men, older, flashier versions of Blake, don't stay. I overhear her at a family brunch, her voice bitter. "Emily's got it all now, doesn't she?" Mom frowns, but I stay silent, my focus on the next move. Jessica's desperation is a storm, but I'm the calm before it. Blake's starting to notice me, not the old Emily, but the force I've become. At a charity gala, he corners me, his eyes searching. "You've changed, Em," he says, almost wistful. I tilt my head, my voice cool. "You never really knew me." He's drowning in debt, his family pressuring him, and I'm the shadow holding his world together. The irony tastes sharp, like the whiskey I sip as I walk away. Flash back to my childhood, hiding in the library, my nose in books while Jessica stole the spotlight. I'd cope by building worlds in my head, safe from her. Now I'm building a real one, my firm, Whitaker Ventures, shaping Charlotte's skyline. Mom sees it, her eyes soft when we talk alone. "You've always been the strong one," she says, her voice weak but sure. I squeeze her hand, my heart heavy but resolved. The will reading comes after a grueling chemo session. Mom's lawyer, a gray-haired man with a clipped voice, reads her wishes in our living room. Jessica's face tightens as she's left with trinkets, jewelry, photos, while I get the bulk, including the home. "That's not fair," Jessica snaps, her eyes blazing. I stay calm, my voice low. "It's what Mom wanted." She storms out, and I feel the weight of her anger, but also my own power. The tension's building, a storm gathering. Jessica's at every hospital visit, her smiles forced, her eyes darting to me. I keep my distance, my moves calculated, my heart guarded. David's my anchor, his presence steady as we plan our next steps. More investments, more influence. Charlotte's elite whisper my name now, not Jessica's. The stage is set, the pieces in place. Mom's health fades fast. I'm in her hospital room, holding her hand when she takes her last breath. Jessica's there too, her sobs loud, but I'm silent, my grief private. The funeral's coming, and with it, the moment everything changes. I'm ready, my plans locked, my heart steeled for what's next. Friends, let me ask you something. When you've held the power to help someone who hurt you, what factors influenced your decision to help or withhold assistance? Share your stories below. I read every one. Next, we'll step into Mom's funeral, where Jessica's world unravels, and I finally step out of the shadows. I'm standing at the back of the Asheville church, the air heavy with lilies and grief, my black dress simple but sharp. It's November 2018, and Mom's funeral has packed the pews with family, old friends, and the country club crowd who whisper behind their hymnals. I'm 32, my heart a quiet ache, but my eyes are dry, my posture steady. Jessica's up front, her sobs loud, her mascara artfully streaked, playing the grieving daughter for all to see. I'm ready for what's coming, my plans locked tight, my moment close. The church is a sea of black, suits, dresses, veiled hats. Old classmates from high school nod at me, their eyes flicking to my plain shoes, assuming I'm still the nobody sister. Blake's here too, shifting uncomfortably in a pew, his new girlfriend, a blonde in a too tight dress, clinging to his arm. The pastor's voice echoes, speaking of family and forgiveness, but I'm watching the room, reading every glance, every whisper. This is Southern funeral culture, I think, where grief's a performance and secrets simmer. I deliver the eulogy, my voice clear, my words raw but measured. Mom taught me strength comes from within, I say, my eyes sweeping the crowd. She saw us, even when we didn't see ourselves. Jessica's head snaps up, her lips tight, sensing the truth beneath my words. The congregation murmurs, some nodding, others whispering about Emily's glow-up. I step down, my heart steady, my plan ticking like a clock. The reception's at a community hall, all white tablecloths and casseroles, the air thick with forced civility. Jessica's in her element, flitting between groups, her laugh too bright, her dress too perfect. She corners an old friend, Claire, spinning tales of her new ventures. I'm launching a lifestyle brand, she says, her voice loud enough for me to hear. Claire nods, but her eyes drift to me, standing quietly with a glass of iced tea. I listen, my ears sharp, catching the undercurrents. A country club matron leans toward her friend, her voice low. Jessica's still so glamorous, but Emily, she looks so plain. I let it slide, my face calm, but I'm cataloging every word, every glance. My husband, David, hasn't arrived yet, tied up in a Charlotte meeting, but I know he's coming. The stage is set, the players in place. Jessica's desperation shows through her polish. She clings to old classmates, her stories exaggerated, trips she can't afford, connections she doesn't have. I overhear her with Blake's parents, her voice sugary. I'm just keeping Mom's memory alive, she says, her hand on his mother's arm. They nod, but their smiles are tight, their eyes flicking to me. I'm the enigma now, the sister they can't place. Blake's a shadow of himself, his suit wrinkled, his eyes hollow. He catches my gaze across the room, his expression a mix of regret and unease. I remember his laugh by the river, his hand in mine, but that's gone. He's here with someone new, but his world's crumbling, debts piling, his family's empire teetering. I'm the silent partner propping it up, and he doesn't even know. The whispers grow louder. A cousin murmurs to her husband, Emily's doing well, I hear, some tech thing. Another voice chimes in, but look at her, she's still so understated. I sip my tea, my lips curving slightly. They see the gray woman, not the force behind Whitaker Ventures, not the one who owns half of Charlotte's rising startups. I'm invisible, just as I planned. Jessica's confidence is her undoing. She's holding court near the dessert table, her voice carrying. "Emily's still poor, you know," she says to a group of old neighbors, her laugh sharp. "All that work, and she's still scraping by." The room quiets, heads turning. I stand still, my heart pounding, but my face serene. She's lit the match, and I'm ready to let it burn. David walks in, his suit tailored, his presence calm but commanding. He's late, fresh from a deal that secured another $1 million for my firm. He finds me, his hand brushing mine, his voice low. "You okay?" he asks, his eyes reading mine. I nod, my pulse steady, the moment I've waited for years, now seconds away. The hall feels smaller, the air charged. Jessica's words hang, her smirk faltering as she sees David, senses the shift. The crowd's watching, their whispers a hum, waiting for something they can't name. I'm no longer the overlooked sister. I'm the storm, gathering, ready to break. Friends, let me ask you something. Have you ever waited years for the perfect moment to reveal a truth? And was the timing worth the wait? Drop your stories in the comments. I read every one. Next, we'll step into the moment Jessica's world collapses, and I finally show my hand. I'm standing in the Asheville Community Hall, the air thick with murmured condolences and the clink of coffee cups. It's November 2018, Mom's funeral reception, and I'm 32. My black dress plain but tailored, my heart a steady drum. Jessica's across the room, her voice loud, her smile forced, spinning tales of her fading glory. Then I hear it, her whisper to a cluster of old friends, sharp as a blade. "Some people never change, still alone, still poor." The room shifts, heads turning, and I feel the moment I've waited years for lock into place. I step forward, my voice calm, my eyes locked on hers. "Jessica," I say, soft but clear, "you've always been so good at stories." The crowd quiets, their eyes darting between us. She laughs, a brittle sound, but her confidence wavers. I stay steady, my hands relaxed, my plan unfolding like a well-coded script. David walks in, his suit crisp, his presence a quiet anchor. He joins me, his hand brushing mine, and turns to a nearby banker. "Just finalized shutting down the Hartley account," he says, casual but loud enough. Blake, standing with his girlfriend, freezes, his face paling. Jessica's smile slips, her eyes narrowing. I turn to David, my voice warm. "This is my husband, David," I say to the crowd, my words landing like a spark. The room buzzes, whispers rippling. Jessica's jaw tightens, her denial a reflex. "Husband?" she scoffs, her voice high. I nod, my gaze unwavering. David smiles, his tone easy. "We've been busy building Whitaker Ventures. Our net worth's north of $70 million now." The crowd gasps, forks pausing mid-bite. Jessica's face drains, her hands trembling. I don't stop. "You remember Blake's real estate ventures?" I ask, my voice conversational. I've been the silent partner keeping them afloat. Blake's eyes widen, his girlfriend stepping back, her face shocked. I turn to Jessica, my tone even. "And Mom's medical bills? The experimental treatments? I paid for those, anonymously." The room's silent now, every eye on us, the truth a wave crashing over her. Jessica shakes her head, her voice shrill. "That's not true," she snaps, but her eyes betray her panic. I press on, my voice steady. "The family home? I bought it to secure Mom's future. It's in my name." Dad shifts in his seat, his eyes soft with realization. Mom's friends murmur, their respect shifting to me. Jessica's breath hitches, her world crumbling. I keep going, my words precise. "Mom's will left me the estate. You got the jewelry, Jessica." Her face twists, tears spilling, but they're not for show anymore. The crowd's allegiance flips, their whispers now praising Emily's quiet strength. I'm no longer the gray woman. They see me, the force behind Charlotte's business scene, the one who reshaped their world from the shadows. Jessica tries to rally, her voice shaking. "You're lying to make me look bad," she cries, her hands flailing. I tilt my head, my voice gentle but firm. "You did that yourself." Blake steps forward, his voice hoarse. I didn't know," he says, his eyes pleading. I meet his gaze, my heart steady. "You chose, Blake. You both did." The hall feels smaller, the air electric. Old classmates, country club matrons, even our cousins, they're all watching, their respect for me growing, Jessica's social standing in ashes. She's isolated, her allies gone, her mask shattered. I feel the weight of years, her thefts, her cruelty, my invisibility, lift, validated at last. But it's bittersweet. I see Jessica's brokenness, her role in her own downfall clear. I could destroy her completely, expose every lie, ruin her last connections. But I pause. I step closer, my voice low, just for her. I could have been your sister, Jessica, not your enemy, I say. You chose this. Her sobs choke out, her eyes meeting mine, raw with recognition. She sees her mistakes, too late. I turn away, David's hand on my back, his presence solid. The crowd's silent, stunned, their whispers starting as we walk toward the door. I'm not gloating, I'm done. I've shown my hand, claimed my truth, and now I'm leaving the past behind. My exit is dignified, my head high, the hall fading behind me. Outside, the November air is sharp, the sky gray. I breathe deep, my heart lighter but heavy with sadness. Justice is mine, but it's not joy, it's closure. The crowd's still talking, their voices a hum through the windows, retelling my story, rewriting me as the victor. Friends, let me ask you something. When you finally got justice for a past wrong, did the satisfaction live up to your expectations, or did it feel different than you imagined? Share your stories below. I read every one. Next, we'll see how Jessica tries to claw her way back, and how I've already moved on. I'm standing outside the Asheville Community Hall, the November air biting my cheeks, the hum of shocked whispers fading behind me. It's 2018, and I've just dropped the truth on Jessica. My wealth, my power, my life no one saw coming. My heart's steady, but there's no thrill in this victory. I could have crushed her completely, but I'm choosing mercy, not because she deserves it, but because I'm done carrying her shadow. Jessica's world implodes overnight. Her Instagram goes silent, her posts deleted, her followers dropping like flies. Old friends ghost her, their brunch invites drying up. She's alone in her rental townhouse, the walls bare, her designer bags sold to cover rent. I hear through cousins she's dating again, men who promise big but leave fast. Her charm's faded, her desperation sharp. I sit in my Charlotte office, my desk sleek, my view the city skyline. Whitaker Ventures is thriving, my investments reshaping markets. But I'm thinking about Jessica, her brokenness at the funeral, her eyes meeting mine. I wire $50,000 to her account through a trust, anonymous, enough to stabilize her, but not save her pride. I don't want her destroyed. I want her to face herself. Jessica's world implodes overnight. Her Instagram goes silent, her posts deleted, her followers dropping like flies. Old friends ghost her, their brunch invites drying up. She's alone in her rental townhouse, the walls bare, her designer bags sold to cover rent. I hear through cousins she's dating again, men who promise big but leave fast. Her charm's faded, her desperation sharp. I sit in my Charlotte office, my desk sleek, my view the city skyline. Whitaker Ventures is thriving, my investments reshaping markets. But I'm thinking about Jessica, her brokenness at the funeral, her eyes meeting mine. I wire $50,000 to her account through a trust, anonymous, enough to stabilize her, but not save her pride. I don't want her destroyed. I want her to face herself. Dad calls me, his voice gruff but warm. "You've done more than we knew, Em," he says, his words heavy with regret. At a family dinner, he hugs me tight, his eyes soft. The extended family's different now too. Cousins ask about my work, aunts nod with respect. They see me, not the gray woman, but the one who held Mom's hand through cancer, who saved the family home. The home's a point of healing. I transfer it to a family trust, ensuring Dad can stay, no strings attached. At Thanksgiving, we gather there, the table set with Mom's old china, but Jessica's absent, her chair empty. Dad carves the turkey, his voice quiet. "We favored her too long," he says to me later, his hand on mine. I nod, my throat tight, the past softening but not gone. Blake tries to reach me, his texts hesitant, his voicemails raw. "I messed up, Em," he says, his voice cracking. "I didn't see you." I meet him once, at a quiet cafe, my coffee cooling as he talks. His eyes are tired, his empire crumbling, his regret real, but too late. "I'm proud of you," he says, but I shake my head, my voice calm. "You chose Blake." I walk away, my heart closed to him, my future forward. My business power's undeniable now. Charlotte's elite invite me to galas, their handshakes firm, their eyes curious. I'm no longer invisible. I'm Emily Whitaker, the woman who owns stakes in their ventures, who funds their startups. At a tech conference, a young coder approaches me, her voice shy. "You're my inspiration," she says. I smile, my heart full, and offer her a mentorship, my legacy growing. I start a charitable foundation, Whitaker Impact, funding education for overlooked kids like I was. At the launch, I speak to a crowd, my voice steady, my dress simple but elegant. "Success isn't about shining, it's about building," I say, and they clap, their respect earned, not demanded. I'm setting an example, not just for women, but for anyone who's been unseen. Jessica's starting to see her choices. I hear she's taken a job, a small marketing gig, her first real work in years. At a family brunch, she's quiet, her eyes down, her bitterness softer. "I didn't know how much you did," she says to me, her voice low. I nod, my face neutral, but inside, I feel a spark of hope, not for us, but for her. Redemption's her path, not mine to give. New boundaries shape our family. I host Christmas, but it's different. No favorites, no drama. Dad shares stories of Mom, his laugh warm, my cousin's kids playing at my feet. I'm present but guarded, my heart open to them, not to pain. The next generation's different too. My niece looks at me with awe, not Jessica, her hero, a builder, not a star. My public presence grows, but it's deliberate. I speak at panels, my name in headlines, but I'm still me. Quiet, focused, real. David's by my side, his hand stayed, his pride in me clear. We're a team, balancing power with purpose. Our life a contrast to Jessica's loud collapse. I'm healing, not from her, but from the girl who hid in the library, scared to be seen. I'm strategic about Jessica's future. I offer her a chance, a job at a startup I fund, entry level, no favors. It's not charity, it's a test. Will she rise or cling to her old ways? I'm ready for either, my heart free of her weight, my focus on what's next. Friends, let me ask you something. When you've had the power to completely destroy someone who wronged you, what stopped you from going all the way? Share your stories below. I read every one. Next, we'll see Jessica's choice and how I step fully into my light. I'm sitting on a quiet porch in Charlotte, the spring air soft with jasmine, my journal open in my lap. It's 2019, I'm 32, and my life's a tapestry of hard-won victories. My empire, my marriage, my peace. But Jessica's still a loose thread, and today I'm deciding how to weave her into my future. I've built everything I dreamed of, not by destroying her, but by rising above her shadow. This is my story's end, and it's not about revenge, it's about grace. I invite Jessica to a small cafe, its walls lined with books, the air warm with coffee. She arrives, her face drawn, her dress simple, a far cry from her old glamour. We sit, our cups steaming, and I start, my voice steady. We need to talk about us, about everything. Her eyes flicker, wary, but she nods, her hands tight around her mug. We dive into our childhood, her spotlight, my invisibility. "I took so much from you," she says, her voice breaking. "I was jealous, Em. I'm sorry." The words hit me, raw and real. I lean back, my heart softening, but guarded. "I forgive you, Jessica," I say, my tone firm. But we're not close, not yet. We rebuild, slow, with boundaries. She nods, tears falling, and I see it, mutual respect, fragile, but there. My business empire, Whitaker Ventures, keeps growing. I'm funding startups, reshaping Charlotte's tech scene, my name a quiet force in boardrooms. At a gala, a young entrepreneur shakes my hand, her eyes bright. "Your mentorship program changed my life," she says. I smile, my heart full, knowing my work lifts others like I once needed lifting. I launch a scholarship fund, Whitaker Scholars, for overlooked students, kids like the old me, lost in someone else's shine. At the first ceremony, a shy girl hugs me, her voice trembling. "I'm going to college because of you," she says. I blink back tears, my purpose clear, turning pain into possibility, not vengeance. David and I are stronger than ever, our marriage an equal partnership. We work late, debating strategy over takeout, his mind as sharp as mine. One night, he pulls me close, his voice soft. "You're my home, Em," he says, his eyes warm. I smile, my heart steady, knowing this love, real, not manipulative, is my anchor. My family's different now. We start new traditions, simple dinners, no favorites, just us. Dad hosts Easter, his laugh warm as we dye eggs with my cousin's kids. Jessica's there, quieter, trying. I catch her eye, a small nod passing between us, a step toward healing, not a leap. I reflect on my journey, from the girl hiding in the library to the woman shaping a city. I learned my worth doesn't come from others' eyes, but from what I build. Justice isn't tearing down, it's rising so high they can't ignore you. Patience, strategic, and fierce got me here, not rage. I start a foundation in Mom's name, funding cancer research, my way of honoring her. At the lunch, I speak to a crowd, my voice clear. Pain can break you, or it can build you, I say, my eyes sweeping the room. They nod, their respect earned, my legacy growing beyond me. Charlotte's business communities changed because of me. Women approach me at events, their voices eager, asking for advice. I mentor them, sharing my story, showing them success isn't loud, it's lasting. My incubator for underrepresented entrepreneurs thrives. My impact, a ripple, not a splash. I think about Jessica, her job at my startup, her slow climb. She's trying, and I'm watching, not to judge, but to hope. Our relationship might grow, not as it was, but as it could be. Honest, careful, real. I'm open, but I'm free of her weight. My peace comes from choosing love over hate, over revenge. I write in my journal, my pen steady, I'm enough, not because they see me, but because I do. Vulnerability, once my fear, is my strength now, tempered by wisdom from years of scars. Friends, if you feel invisible, hear this. Your worth isn't in their eyes. Build something real, your work, your heart, your truth. Be patient, think strategically, find your people. Success isn't shouting, it's standing tall when the noise fades. Check out Whitaker Scholars, join our mentorship network, share your story. You're not alone. Let me ask you one last thing. What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone who feels invisible in their family or community? And how can they begin to build their own path to recognition and success? Drop your stories below. I read every one. This is my story, but yours is still unfolding. Keep building.